This model kit review is of the 1/48 scale North American P-51D Mustang. It's by Airfix, and over here you can see the two different options for decals. And let's see here if there's any more detail here. Here's some details about the plane, as well as dimensions, and who flew those planes. So let's have a look inside here. So it looks like we have a number of sprues here to look at. First of all, here's our glass, which we have some canopies. It looks like we have two options here. As well as the back canopy, looks like we have three. Unusual there. Now, Airfix uses this very unusual plastic. It's very flexible. Over here, it looks like we have parts for the weapons underneath, as well as maybe some engine parts over there. We have some wheels. These are actually very nicely molded. That's pretty good quality molding. I don't see any flashing or mold lines. Very, very nicely molded. We've got molded in seat belts and parts of our cockpit. Here's our air intake for the radiator. There is the instrument panel with some nice detail. Two options for exhausts. We've got some bombs, and here's our spinner. Here's our wheel well covers, tail wheel over there. This is all very nicely molded, lots of little details. Hose for inside the cockpit. Here we have our main landing gear and our tail gear. We have our guns, and look at the nice molding there. What good quality there. And some additional parts for the bombs there. Over here we have our wing. Also, look at the exceptional quality there. Very, very impressive. Lots of recessed lines and rivet lines. Here's the lower engine bay cover and insides of our wheel wells. Again, look at the tremendous quality there. Great molding. Here's the inside of the cockpits here. For both sides, and then this looks like this must be part of the wheel well, and there's the inside of the wheel of the wing. Here we have, this looks like the inside of our cockpit, as well as wheel well. There's the cockpit and the wheel well. We have our top wings, again, really amazing quality, very nicely molded. Here we have these must be our, this must be the tail, the stabilizer. Here's our main fuselage, again, very nicely molded, great level of quality. And then we have our fuel tanks, as well as possibly some bombs. Here's our rudder. Really overall just a very impressive molding quality. Here's actually the inside of the wheel well for the main gear, and that's the also the part of the inside. Nice propeller. The wheel well covers if you want to have them closed. Here we have our ailerons and flaps, and then our stabilizer. We have a pilot, and the underside of the fuselage and wings. So that is really, really impressive quality. I want to have a look over here at our decals. Also, tremendous amount of detail here. Really looks like great quality. They're very nicely printed. So these are shared between both of them. And then these are the two options. I really like the Jersey Jerk one. Let's have a look at our decals here. So some details about the plane. And it looks like we're going to start off with building the cockpit over there. And then we build our, it's got to be the radiator. That's really what it was. That goes in underneath. Then our tail wheel is put in. We have our cockpit sides being built here. And tail is put onto the fuselage. And next we have fuselage being mounted together with the cockpit inside. Like that. Then our nose of the fuselage is put on. I guess you could put an engine in there if you wanted to. Then build our wheel well. Those are built into the wings. Don't forget to make the holes if you want to put the bombs or fuel tanks on. Wings are then built as well as the machine guns. Then our flaps go on. You can either have them up or down. And as well as your ailerons. Next, the wing is then mounted to the fuselage, and the propeller is mounted as well as your optional exhausts, depending which one you pick. Then additional fuselage parts going on, including the radiator and radiator exhaust, and then our stabilizer and elevator, rudder. Next we put on the wheel well covers. I really like having them off. You can, or up, you can see the details. Wheels are then mounted. Next we have, those look like rocket pods and fuel tanks. Those are all mounted then onto the plane. And then lastly we start to put together the spinner with propeller and cockpit canopy. Pilot goes in, and then the last few parts. Over here we have our decal and painting guide right over here, and tremendous amount of detail. As I said, what a great model kit.